try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekdaily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about exactly why I believe that very soon, as in the next 14 to 28 days, Bitcoin is going to be shattering $104,000, and why we are likely going to begin a rally up to about 110 to 125,000, which will also likely ignite a rally following that in your favorite altcoins. That's right. I don't think that we are done with the bull market. I don't think we're even close. And while we may need another correction, and we've talked about how an 85-cent Cardano could show up, we've talked about how it is possible for Bitcoin to drop down to 87 or even a little bit lower. If we really needed that correction, those kinds of pullbacks could happen. But right now, I've got a tingle. I've got a little bit of a feeling. You know, I've been doing this for over 7 years now, guys. Almost every single day we've been uploading content to the channel here. I think in the next couple of days we will pass 3,000 views on the Crypto Jeb channel. We have been here. We've been around the block. We've been doing this for a long time. And sometimes you just get a feeling. Sometimes, say it with me now, you just get a real good feeling. And that's what I've got right now in the cryptocurrency market. I'm going to show you exactly why I think a breakout's coming. I got an itching feeling. I got a sneaking suspicion that something big is coming. And I wouldn't say that unless I meant it, obviously. And we're going to talk about why today. And most importantly, we're going to talk about what to do about that. It's really easy to sit here and say, oh, I think the market's going to do this. Well, guess what? Some of the time it's going to do it, even if you suck at what you do. Even if you're not a very good technical analyst. Even if you're bad at analyzing the market. Sometimes you're going to get it right. It's just the way it works. Sometimes you're going to get it wrong. But what really matters is whether or not we are able to apply what we learned about where the market is going and then use that to generate some kind of profit, to generate some kind of return. So we're not only going to talk about where Bitcoin's going, we're also going to talk about where a bunch of other altcoins are likely going, and we're going to be talking about how we should be taking profits. Should we be doing any more entries right now? Should we be dollar cost averaging? We're going to break down the whole thing because I want you to be able to make as much money in this cycle as possible, ethically, wisely, and responsibly. And I also want you to not just make money on paper. I also want you to be able to take some profits, make some serious money here in this 2024-2025 bull market. I think there's a lot more to go, and we've got a lot to talk about. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Welcome everybody to the stream. My name is Jeb McAfee. As I said, I've been working in the crypto space for about 7 years. If you are new here, drop a 1 in chat. I would love to give you specifically a massive shout out and a big warm thank you for being here today. It is my mission to help solve the world's financial problems one family at a time. I genuinely believe that if I can help you get your home right, if I can help you get your family right, and then I can help this person get their family right, and then you guys can help go and help other people get their family right, and we can start a movement. And we can change the world, right? We can change the world if we can change ourselves. If we can learn and grow and be healed and be part of God's redemptive plan for this world and be healed and then show people, hey, guys, look, I was hurt. I went through this and I went through this and then I went through this. But then guess what? But then I did this and then I did that. And then I bought Bitcoin and then I had a budget and then I got out of debt and then I started investing and then I started being radically generous and I gave my money to God. And look at that. I'm doing so well. You want some? Yeah, come on. Let's do it together. I can show you how I learned. I can show you what I went through. And that's what all this channel is about. That's all this microphone, this camera, this soundboard, my computer, this YouTube channel. That's all it is. It's a megaphone for me to share with you guys the financial healing that I've had and show you that it can happen for you too. So that's what we're going to do today. Blasnick's in chat. Joe Bollier's in chat. Stephen Alexander's in chat. Sean O'Brien's in chat. Patrick Too Tall is in chat. Raindrops keep falling on your head. Philly Skills 1428 in chat. Like one person probably understands why I just sang that. Just like the guider's feet were too big for his bed. There you go. That'd be why. Blasnick's in chat. Christopher Ryan's in chat. Schmedley B's in chat. John Rawson. I almost said Ron Jawson. I don't know why. I've got things backwards this morning. Francisco B's in chat. Casper Koala's in chat. Alex Nibo is in chat. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Let's get started. We've got a lot to talk about here. Got a lot of stuff to cover, so let's go ahead and get to it. At the moment, Bitcoin is trading at $100,158, and it has gone under a quite substantial period of sideways trading here. We began a massive rally after the election of President Donald Trump. Around 1:30 in the morning, the campaign, the head of the campaign, I forgot the title, but the person in charge of Kamala's campaign basically told everybody to go home. And so about 1:30 in the morning on election day, the towel was thrown in and we knew Trump was going to be president. We had the final call for that later on that morning. After that, Bitcoin went on an enormous rally, 48% in 2.5 weeks, and we hit 99,600. We stopped at 99,600 because 100K was always going to be a big, even psychological barrier. But as we fell back, we held support on this uptrend that was forming at the time. And as you can see, we set this uptrend in motion. And over the last 2 to 3 weeks, it has been very, very important, this uptrend. You see, because as Bitcoin has been going about its business, going into its rally, breaking up to $100,000, breaking up to $104,000, every time that Bitcoin has corrected, it's fallen back down to this uptrending level of support. And when you're analyzing a market, you need to understand, generally speaking, where the market's going. Is the market rallying or correcting? And the way we tell this is based on the series of highs and the series of lows. We basically draw a box around the market and we try and figure out which direction the box is pointing. And so far, that box, if you will, is a shape that looks a little bit something like this. We've got higher highs and we've got higher lows right here. We've got an ascending trading channel, one that is not, generally speaking, that steep. It's one that we could actually hold on to and maintain for a long time. If we were to extrapolate this uptrending level of support out well into the future while maintaining the same inclination here, we could see that it would not be crazy for us to be able to hold it into next year. Because by the time you get to, let's say, summer of next year, June of next year, July of next year, that uptrend's only sitting at $165,000. Well, yeah, but $165,000, that's so high. Yeah, but this is the most bullish season Bitcoin has ever witnessed. A rally from where we are now to 165 is, well, easy math this time, 65% rally. Guys, Bitcoin rallied 50% in 17 days after Trump was elected. What's going to happen after he gets actually inaugurated and can start doing stuff, right? And so what we're witnessing right now is the construction of market structure that we could actually hold on to for a long time here. We're witnessing the construction of market structure here that is overriding $100,000. And this is the point. The point here is that the market is showing a great deal more respect for this uptrending level of resistance and this uptrending level of support than it ever has for $100,000. Because as time has gone on over the last several weeks, you can see that the majority of the price action has begun to occur above 100K. Whereas only a week and a half ago, it was all happening below 100. Now we're starting to build, and you can see it on the VRVP, would be the best way to see it. You can see on the VRVP, there is a great deal of visible range volume profile data up here above $100,000. In fact, if we zoom in here, we can actually see that the majority of our trading, the majority of our volume is now occurring north of $100,000. In fact, our point of control right here sits at $101,400, which is why I told you guys yesterday we're moving in a bullish direction, but I am not convinced until we break above and through $101,400. Well, it just so happens that we did reject there yesterday, kind of how we thought we might, but we didn't drop all the way back down to these uptrending level, these lows down here. No, instead we dropped down to 100K, and we're actually holding support on it. This is the first time in the history of Bitcoin, and this is just what's happened in the last 24 hours. Things are changing fast, and this is what's changed overnight. This is the first time in the history of this industry that Bitcoin is actually maintaining support north of 100K. This trading over here was happening just beneath $100,000. This trading over here is happening just barely above and right on $100,000. It's a slight change, but it's a change. You can see our local high that we set just a couple of days ago, yesterday, was at 102,600. This local high was at 102,100. This high was $500 higher than the one before it. These are subtle but extraordinarily bullish signals for Bitcoin. Full stop. And when we realize this, that allows something beautiful. It allows for wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom is the ability through understanding, which is based in knowledge of the way that the physical world works, or the spiritual world works, or some part of the world works. Wisdom is the way through understanding that we apply our knowledge to see what will happen in the future. In wisdom, I can say that I am pasty white. Like my natural habitat is probably, I don't know, in the Arctic Circle in an igloo, right? My natural habitat does not fit very well with Florida, right? As far as my skin, my complexion, my melanin count, right? My M count, right? We're going to go Star Wars about it. Because if I go, and with wisdom, I can say that if I go outside for too long and I don't put on sunscreen or something, I'm going to burn, right? That I can say this is going to happen in the future because I know something about the way the sun works. I know something about the way my body works. So that leads me to the understanding that that I could burn easily. And so the wise thing to do is to say, I see that I'm going to burn easily in the future, and so I want to prepare for that. Well, how does all that apply here? Right? Well, the way this applies here is that we have a knowledge about the market. We have a knowledge that $100,000 is a very significant level. We have a knowledge about technical analysis. As we are building higher highs and higher lows, then that generally, the knowledge that we're building higher highs and higher lows can help us unlock the understanding that that is, generally speaking, a bullish thing. And then we can unlock the knowledge that, hey, Bitcoin is spending the majority of its time above $100,000 now. It's spending the majority of its time above $100,000. $100,000 is the peak of the mountain, but we're spending more time on the north side of the mountain, which means we're probably going to roll down the north side of the mountain, right? We can see that in the last week and a half or so, the visible range volume profile point of control, the place where we're having the majority of our trading, the place of the highest amount of trading is taking place above 100K. That tells us, guys, that $100,000 is being broken through. Like, have you ever seen in those movies where there's like a shield, right? And you got to get through the shield, so you kind of got to like fight your way through it, right? They got like the monster, and the monster's like trying to push its way through the shield. It's like a membrane, right? You got to push your way through it. It's hard. It's not easy. And so while Bitcoin is above $100,000, just the entire zone around 100K is this sticking point. But we're getting through it. Slowly but surely, the market is getting used to the idea of a six-figure Bitcoin. People are getting used to that. They're calling that normal. And as of the last 48 hours, $100,000 is becoming support architecture rather than resistance architecture. That's very, very, very significant. Very significant. And that leads me to kind of my final point here on what's going on with Bitcoin right now. That is that we are building an inverse head and shoulders pattern. This inverse head and shoulders pattern looks like this. It was in the thumbnail. And that's where the idea of an explosion comes from. We've got an inverse head and shoulders pattern being constructed. We've got visible range volume profile giving us our point of control above $100,000 for the first time in the history of the market. We have an uptrending level of resistance, an uptrending level of support. We have a the president-elect coming into office in about 5 weeks, who we know is extremely bullish on Bitcoin. And by the way, I don't have the clip right in front of me, but who is it? I think it was actually, I think it might have been Jim Cramer, was interviewing Donald Trump and said, you know, what do you think about cryptocurrency? Are you going to build a strategic national reserve of Bitcoin the same way that we've done with petroleum? And Donald Trump says, yeah, I think we're going to do that. And he says, yeah, we're going to do that, whatever it was, right? I'll see if I can find that real quick while I talk here. But I retweeted it, so it shouldn't be that hard for me to find, and I'll show you this. So we're most likely going to have this idea of an arms race going on. Trump has basically declared an arms race. In that video, you could see it. He basically declared an arms race, or more or less that we're just going to, there is an arms race. He's recognized that there is one, but we're going to win it as America. And we're going to be acquiring Bitcoin, most likely. Russia's most likely going to be acquiring Bitcoin. One of the deputies in their government put forward a bill for them to strategically acquire Bitcoin. And Russia really needs to, because they don't have a very strong currency right now due to the invasion in Ukraine. Their economy is in shambles. China is probably going to be acquiring Bitcoin too. And so how does all this tie in? Well, in the short term, we've got all these technicals that we're talking about. A lot of times technicals give us a better insight into the short term. Fundamentals give us a better insight into the long term. The technicals in the short term are telling us that $100,000 is really being breached. Take a second to digest all this. $100,000 is really, it's really well and truly coming down. Those walls are coming down. They're coming down. We're breaking through it. We're getting used to being above $100,000. In the long run, we've got all kinds of bullish things going on for Bitcoin. But one of the big ones is that the United States government itself is probably going to begin a strategic national reserve. Jeb, Donald Trump's not that crazy. Yeah, he is. He started the freaking Space Force for the first time in 75 years when he was president in the 47th presidency. He started a new branch of the United States military. You think he's not just nuts enough to say, yeah, we're just going to start buying 100,000 Bitcoin a year, 200,000 Bitcoin a year? Of course he's that crazy. And Trump ain't perfect, but that's not a bad kind of crazy. I wish he would do that. I wish the government would acquire Bitcoin. I think that'd be great. Cynthia Lummis put forward the bill to acquire 1 million Bitcoin, sell it in the 2040s for trillions of dollars, and use it to help pay back the United States national debt. I think that's a great idea. That's what I do with some of you guys in coaching. You're like, well, Jeb, I'm in a bunch of consumer debt. I'm like, well, I wish you weren't in that. And I'm not going to say that you should go into any more of it, but hey, you're looking at taking some profits in 2025. Maybe use some of the profits that you take to attack the debt. The government's, Cynthia Lummis's plan that Trump has endorsed is basically doing the exact same thing on the scale of the national government, of the federal government. And so that's the longer term perspective. So marrying these two together, short term, Bitcoin's getting used to being above 100K and has an inverse head and shoulders pattern with a price target. By the way, let's show you the price target. I didn't mention that. The price target here on this Bitcoin market right now is looking like about $106,000. Well, guess what? What, Jeb? Look at that. Where does the price target of that inverse head and shoulders pattern point to? Well, it points right here to this uptrending level of resistance. Well, isn't that convenient? Where is that? That's $107,000. That'd be higher than 104 for any of you that, failed 3-year-old math, right? 107's bigger than 104, right? My 4-year-old could tell you that, right? So Bitcoin here has an inverse head and shoulders pattern. I don't know if you can see it. Now you can. It's got an inverse head and shoulders pattern right there. It's a beautiful inverse head and shoulders pattern. Let's use Trump's lingo. Beautiful. It's the greatest inverse head and shoulders pattern in the history of the world. Yeah, right? Okay, it's a great head and shoulders pattern. It's not a funky looking one. It's actually, it's textbook, guys. It's very, very easy to see. Boom, boom, boom. All we got to do is rally back up here about another $1,000 in the next, 24 hours. We're good to go. The price target is drawn from the head to the neckline here. Then you extrapolate off the right shoulder from the bottom of the right shoulder on the inverse head and shoulders pattern. That gives us our price target. Price target sitting at $106,500. So short term, looking bullish. Long term, looking very bullish. Let me see if I can find this video. Here we go. Watch this. I'm gonna play it straight off my laptop. There we go. Watch this.
China. You're embracing crypto, very different from the previous administration. Strategic Petroleum Reserve like for crypto?
Yeah, I think so.
You hear that? I'm going to play the rest of the clip here in just a second, but did you hear that? Strategic National Reserve for Bitcoin like we have with petroleum? Yeah, I think so. This was all over X. In case you didn't see this, you need to see this. This is like the most important thing that came out of Trump's mouth this week as it relates to crypto. Let's watch the rest of the clip just so that you can kind of see the context here.
We're going to do something great with crypto because we don't want...
I'm going to start over.
You're embracing crypto, very different from the previous administration. Strategic Petroleum Reserve like for crypto?
Yeah, I think so. We're going to do something great with crypto because we don't want China or anybody else, not just China, but others are embracing it, and we want to be the head. We're going to be ahead of AI. We're going to be way ahead of AI, and we've got to produce tremendous amounts of electricity. You know that it's unbelievable when you think that we need more than twice...
And anyway, that's a little bit, he's getting a little bit off topic from what we're talking about here, but it is very important that we understand that is the president of the United States elect, right? That's what's coming, is someone who thinks that, yeah, I think we're going to do a strategic national reserve for Bitcoin. It doesn't sound, he might not be totally decided, but he did make it very clear that he wants to beat the rest of the world's nations in the acquisition of Bitcoin. That much was made crystal clear, has been made crystal clear over and over again. When I first saw that people were saying that he was saying stuff like this, I had to go look into him. Like, did Trump really say that? Well, he just said it right there. Jim Cramer, are we going to have a strategic national reserve for Bitcoin just like we do with petroleum? Yeah, I think so. That's not 100%. Yes, I will do that on day one. That'll be my first executive order. It's not that clear, but that's what he said. We'll see if it happens. But honestly, it probably will. The chairman of the SEC, Paul Atkins, pro crypto. David Sachs, he's going to be the artificial intelligence and the AI and cryptocurrency czar. Guy was the co-founder of PayPal. Guy's been working in payments and entrepreneurship and business for 25 years, 30 years, loves crypto. And so that's what we're going to see happening. So someone just said in chat something I love and really kind of nails that, kind of hits this nail on the head. And that is tension's building here. Tension's building here, folks. So I've kind of established that, like we said, the tension's building. Let's read a little bit of chat. And then what we're going to do is something very beautiful. We're going to talk about exactly where this market is going next over the next 6 months or so. And we're going to talk about what we ought to be doing now and then. You see, one of the reasons I love financial coaching, because it's, to be totally honest with you, it's $250 an hour. It's still not really worth my time from a monetary standpoint. But the reason I love doing coaching with you guys is, number one, I get to meet you guys. I've got to meet so many of you guys through financial coaching. It's so much fun. And I love helping you guys. And every time, I mean, I'm literally every single time I get off a coaching call, people are like, oh man, Jeb, this was so helpful. Thank you so very much. This was so worth my time. This is so worth the money. I really appreciate it. I've got so much more direction. I don't remember a single time that I haven't had a response like that at the end of a coaching call. I really don't. I'm saying that honestly. I'm sure it may have happened, but I can't remember it. I've done, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 coaching calls at this point, however many. Several of you guys I've seen multiple times. So I love helping you guys with the coaching calls. But the second reason I love the coaching calls is because it helps me to understand exactly what your pain point is, exactly what people are wanting. So when I do 5, 6 coaching calls in a month, I don't do many of them, but it's just not the main business. It's just something I also do. Then it also gives me an insight as to what you guys want. What you guys want right now, because I meet with you on Zoom and you tell me, is that, hey, I've got this portfolio. I didn't sell it in 2021 because the price targets were too high. Everybody was saying Cardano was going to $10. I didn't say that. Cardano's going to $10, Bitcoin's going to 100K. They didn't sell because they didn't get there. And so I want to make sure that I actually make money this cycle. A lot of you guys have great entries, but you don't know how to exit. And so I want to talk a little bit about how to exit out of our Bitcoin, how to exit out of our positions. And we actually just uploaded a video yesterday that is shaping up to be one of the best performing videos that we've had on the channel in over a year. Our new editor, Sylvan, Grant Cardone, it's been one of the best performing videos on our channel in a very long time. And this video is going to explain to you where Cardano's going, where I think it's going, how to take profits so you actually get your principal out and a lot of gains. And if it goes up to 780, which I think is our highest price target here, how to take a little bit of profits up there too. Right. This is what we did for Cardano. We're going to do other videos like this, so stay tuned for that. But I want to talk a little bit about it with Bitcoin. What do we do with Bitcoin? How do we take profits on Bitcoin? How do we actually DCA out of Bitcoin? Just so you know, what we are doing right now, we dollar cost average Bitcoin every single day. Every single day we buy Bitcoin, period. Every day. Every single day. I'm going to end up blurring out some of the information and posting the proof of it over here on Coinbase. But right here, December 13th, bought Bitcoin. December 12th, bought Bitcoin. December 11th, bought Bitcoin. December 10th, bought Bitcoin. December 9th, bought Bitcoin. December 8th, bought Bitcoin. December 7th, bought Bitcoin. December 6th. December 6th, I bought Bitcoin twice. December 5th, bought Bitcoin, etc. Right? And you go back and back and back. And you can see that we're just acquiring Bitcoin because I genuinely believe that it's going to succeed. And that's a long-term holding that we're going to hold on to for, years and years and years to come. So how do you cycle out of the portfolio? That's the question that I know a lot of you guys are interested in. How do you cycle out of the portfolio that you built? 2 questions. Number 1, what part of the portfolio do you want to hold for the long term? As far as what part of the portfolio are you not going to sell this cycle? For us, that is 100% of our Bitcoin we are not selling this cycle. Tentatively, 100% of our Ethereum we are not selling this cycle. Those are kind of the 2 plans there. Tentatively, we're probably going to sell all of the rest of our coins, but we may end up holding on to some of our Cardano and some of our Solana. Honestly, we may end up holding on to maybe 25 to 50% of both those coins for the long term to build a long-term position. I am very much toying with that idea. Now, so we've got to separate that out into what part of the portfolio are we holding for the long run and what part of the portfolio are we selling. The last 6 coaching calls straight, every single one I've done with you guys, I have this exact same question for you guys. I say, what part of the portfolio are you going to hold for the long run? What part of the portfolio are you selling in this cycle? You need to separate those out. If you can put them on 2 different accounts to make it simpler, then good. If not, get a spreadsheet and say, I'm holding 10,000 ADA forever. I'm selling 50,000 ADA this cycle. I'm holding 1 Bitcoin flat. I had one coaching client. I'm holding 1 Bitcoin I'm going to hold that forever. Well, he was going to sell all of it. And I was like, do you want to do that? He's like, yeah, you know what? I appreciate that. I'm going to hold 1 Bitcoin forever and keep that for my kids. So he held 1 Bitcoin. He's going to sell about half a Bitcoin this cycle, along with his altcoins, right? And one of my coaching clients is going to be doing that. A few $100,000 portfolio. He's working on cycling out of it and doing stuff. And so what we're looking at is we need to separate out the portfolio. After that, after we've separated out the portfolio, we can just forget about the stuff that we're not going to touch because we're not going to touch it. So we don't need to figure out what to do with it. We just need to make sure it's custodied and it's safe. That's the only thing we need to worry about with that. Then what we're going to sell, that's where we need to come up with the plan to sell it. And so this is where in a coaching call, if you're a coaching client of mine, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of psychoanalyze you a little bit. And I'm going to say, how much time do you have? Does this guy have 5 kids? I have one client who I love this guy. He's a general contractor, giant company, 4 kids. One of them just was born like a month ago. Super busy, makes over $1 million a year. And this guy, I'm like, you need just something really simple. It's a multi-$100,000, about a $500,000 portfolio. You need to keep it simple. $500,000 portfolio. What do you mean you need to keep it simple? Well, the guy's worth like, I have no idea, like 10, 15, $20 million. It's not worth his time to sit there and micromanage it, right? So we need to say, boom, boom, boom. We're going to sell 3 times. We're going to sell this level, this level, this level. We're going to make a very detailed plan about the top 3 coins. Then the rest of them, we're just going to, hey, I'm happy with the return. Boom, I'm going to sell half of it or all of it. So after we've decided we're not selling this for the cycle and we're selling this for the cycle, we've categorized those. One of the best things you can ever learn to do is how to categorize things. It is the core of budgeting. It's also the core of decision making, by the way, one of the cores of decision making. We separate those out. We say we're not touching this, but we are going to do something with this. Then we ask ourselves the question to kind of paint the picture of how we should sell this. How much time do I have? Is this worth my time? Some of you guys are making $250,000 a year and you've got a $5,000 crypto portfolio. My friend, it is not worth your time to go and spend 20 hours setting up all the sell orders and making it all perfect and super detailed. If you want to do that as a hobby, fine, but it's not worth your time. You could go pick up an extra hour of work and you'd make more money in an hour than you would if you spent all that time maximizing your rewards perfectly. So we've got to think about our time as more important than our money, because if you forgot, the purpose of making an investment is so your dollars replace the necessary input of your time, right? We're talking financial sovereignty here as it applies to crypto. We've got to realize that if we just spend 100 hours micromanaging our portfolio, then you've basically just wasted all the gains that you made from the portfolio. Because a lot of you guys out here making $50, $100 an hour, some of you making $20 an hour. Let's say you make $20 an hour and you spend $100 min-maxing your portfolio. Well, you could have gone to work for 100 hours at $20 an hour and brought home $2,000. Right? But because you min-maxed your portfolio for 100 hours, you ended up making an extra $400. But what actually just happened there is you made $4 an hour, $5 an hour, whatever it's not worth it. So we've got to make this simple but powerful when we figure out how we're going to sell. And so there's 2 major strategies that I go through with people, and depending on their situation, we normally pick one or the other. One of the strategies is that we with the part we're going to sell this cycle is that we start selling on a weekly basis and we set up a recurring sell. On Coinbase, you, I believe, can set up a recurring exit, right? You can set up a recurring trade to sell the position, right? I think. Maybe not. Maybe not. No, actually, I take that back. You don't. You have to be able to do that manually. So this is where this is more micromanaging, right? This is if somebody is, let's say they're worth $1 million, half of it's in Bitcoin. I want you micromanaging that because that's half your net worth. Let's say it's 5% of their net worth. I don't want them doing this because this is going to take too much of their time. It's just not worth their time because it's just not enough money for it to be worth their time. If your crypto portfolio is a large portion of your net worth, what you're going to do is you're going to do this. You're going to say, okay, I think Bitcoin is going to go to, let's say you're selling some Bitcoin this cycle. I think Bitcoin's going to go to 200K. I think, like in our Cardano video that we just put out, Cardano could go all the way up to, and here's the chart from that video. Cardano could go all the way up to 780, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to figure out what's the all-time high that I think we're going to go to realistically. All-time high on Cardano is probably going to be around 5, perhaps as high as almost 8. Right? That's the all-time high, I think, for this cycle. 780 is the stretch. 5 is right around the price target. Somewhere in there is probably where we're going to top out. We figure out the all-time high, then we back extrapolate and we say, okay, if I think it's going to hit 200 on Bitcoin, then I probably want to start selling like 1% of the position at 130. Well, Jeb, you're missing out. No, you're not. You're locking in. You got it backwards. You got it plumb backwards, man. You bought in down here at 30, 40, 50. You're locking in at 130. You made a 2-3x reward. Good job with very low risk. You did great. You know, with Cardano. You bought in at 40 cents. You're locking in at $2. Jeb, I could have sold at 8. No, you would never have sold up there. Even if it does go to 8, you're not going to be the one lucky dude that manages to sell that high. If you bought in at 40 and you started selling at $2, you're still starting out with 5x returns. And as the market goes up, now you're at 6x, 7x, 8x, 9x, etc. And so if you're more micromanaging the portfolio, because the vast majority of it's the majority of your net worth, or 30, 40, 50% of your net worth, then we're going to be looking at, you know, something like 1% a week, 2% a week, 3% a week, scaling up. If you are much less, if it is a much smaller percentage of your net worth, like this individual that I was coaching, got 600K portfolio, but he's probably worth about $15-20 million. He makes as much money in 4 months as the value of the entire portfolio. Got a bunch of net worth, all kinds of stuff, then it's not really as much worth his time. So we're going to just say this. Hey, we're going to say this is the all-time high. We're going to set one stretch target right below the all-time high. Then we're going to set 2 or 3 targets below there, and we're going to put limit orders there. If Bitcoin hits 125, we're going to sell 25%. If Bitcoin hits 145, we're going to sell 25%. If Bitcoin hits 165, we're going to sell 25%. If we hit 190, we're going to sell 25%, etc. And so those are the kind of the 2 ways that you're going to cycle out. But the important thing is that you've got to have a plan for how you're going to cycle out of the positions, because if you don't, then you're going to end up being left holding a bag that you didn't want to be left holding, and that's not what I want for you. So if you're trying to cycle out of the position, depending on your net worth, either scale out weekly, which you have to do manually, which can be a little bit annoying, which is why it's kind of micromanagey. So I would only recommend doing that if it's a large portion of your net worth and is actually literally worth your time, your hourly rate, whatever you're making it work. Like my hourly rate at the company, an hour of my work here at McAfee Media generally makes between $500 to $2,500 an hour. That's about how much my time at work is worth. So if I'm not going to be able to make $500 to $2,500 an hour of micromanaging something, then I'm going to figure out a way to automate it or delegate it. That's why I have a budgeting app that does most of the budgeting automatically. That's why we've got a Roomba to sweep the floors. That's why I got a kid to pick up stuff off the floors. That's why I got an editor to edit the videos. That's why I got my wife to help me project manage, right? We delegate, etc. And so, because if it's just not worth your time as a wealth building activity, then stop doing it. You need to spend as much of your time doing wealth building activities that are at the peak, right? And so that's where I would heavily encourage you to consider not only just how you're going to get out of the position, but also how are you going to get out of the positions in a way that you don't sink so much time into it that you could have made more money elsewhere. Again, if you're making $30 an hour and you're going to put $100 hours into it, you could have made $3,000 just going to work. But let's say the position's small and you made $400 extra because you micromanaged it. Well, you just wasted time. You weren't actually financially sovereign over that time. You're making $5 an hour. So you've got to really think about it from the stance of your money should serve your time, and your money should serve your life mission, which in my case is to serve the Lord Jesus Christ, which means I don't want to spend a bunch of time doing busy work that I could delegate to somebody else and bless them, because $20 an hour is great to them. It's not worth my time to me, so it blesses me because I get my time back. It blesses them because they have a job, because I want to free up my time to go spend time with my family, go minister to somebody, help somebody, be generous to somebody. I want to be a good steward, not just of my money, but also my time. So consider your time, consider your money when you're setting up these exits, and make sure you're doing your technical analysis so you can figure out exactly where those exits ought to be. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's stream. We're going to have to wrap it out a little bit early. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. We've got a really great turnout here recently on some of these videos. This Cardano video that we uploaded yesterday is just absolutely killing it. It's got, in the back end, it says it's about 37,000 views. So really excited about this video. Go watch this if you haven't already. Also, make sure to go watch this other video that we just put out recently. Bitcoin killed gold. Bitcoin will hit 200K very soon, and why it'll pass gold and hit $1 million a coin relatively soon. You can see we also just hit 3,000 videos, and we just passed 236K subs. We're growing rapidly. Really excited about what we're doing. So stay tuned. A lot of content coming. Also, if you have not already, make sure to sign up for the Financial Sovereignty Academy. The link for that is in the description box down below. Over there, I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know about building wealth, including talking about what we just talked about how to cycle out of cryptocurrency. Those videos aren't there yet. We're still building it out. So it's in a very early pre-alpha state. So stay tuned. More content is coming. We're working on editing those up to the same standard that we're editing these new YouTube videos to. But new content is on its way for Financial Sovereignty Academy. Stay tuned for that. Really excited to see how you guys are going to succeed and thrive over there. Make sure to check out some of our other sponsors. For example, we've got NordVPN and Uphold. Both of them great sponsors. NordVPN is going to help keep you safe as you browse online. Upholds Vault, Upholds USD interest, all the different things that Uphold is doing right now. Great place to base yourself in cryptocurrency. So check out both of those companies over there. Check out Blowfin, great leverage trading, derivatives trading exchange. Check out LuxAlgo, just phenomenal technical indicator. We use it almost every single day here. We love Lux Algo. So make sure to check out all those links down below. They're all going to help you in one way or another in your journey here in cryptocurrency. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, tell me something you liked or didn't like about the video. We're always looking to grow and improve. We really appreciate you being here. And before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.